Hey guys, Chris here at TT120. Long-awaited Camelot. I know it's been a matter of months, not weeks, and that's sorry, remiss of me. Just stuff's been just stuff got in the way. Plus also the challenges of wrapping plastic in Scalzine's paper has been one that's taken a bit more time than I thought, and the issues are taking a little while to resolve. Uh, I haven't really gone into that in detail because that was a bit dull. Maybe I should do. You can tell me in the comments below. Right, but anyway, enjoy what I've been getting up to. See you at the end.
Now then, Camelot. Well, as best laid plans, or best laid any rail plans, as you can see here, we've got a little bit of an issue, and that is that the Roundhouse doesn't give us a lot of, well, it gives us no space at the back here where there used to be a roadway to the pool, to the canal pool. So I had to sort of rethink it now. So plan is, I'm going to make a deck along the front of here. Put the paper version in front of you, as you can see. So there's a roadway running round here, or cobbled yard. This will be cobbled yard around the pool. So all of this here, the plan is a cobbled yard, and we're going to make a road, a deck, a working deck, using matches. Well, matchsticks, the sort of thing you can buy from Amazon or eBay, rather than what you used to do in the 70s, which is rob all your parents' matches after they'd lit a fag and cut the end off. So we're going to have a little crack at making a funky deck, and then this will be a cobbled yard coming round here. Now I've moved the head shunt just a little bit and reduced it in its length so we don't clash, so that we have a little bit more space here so that light commercial vehicles can actually get through. Now the Morris is fine, so is obviously the Land Rover, just as an example as a scale vehicle, but also I wanted to make it so the bus had a reasonable space to get through, because that's about as big as a commercial vehicle is ever going to get round here. I probably won't, it'll probably be more small stuff. Seeing as most of what's coming off of here will be going out by canal. Right, so then the canal basin itself, we've had a little bit of a shuffle around. I wanted to put I've got the water tower here now with one, and we'll move the water tower crane, which will sit along here and line up with a tender. We still needed the turning point of the pool so that a canal boat can actually come in, drive to there, and then not sure what they do next. Do they then? Don't know how they get out of that. But some kind of turning point is probably. I wonder if they should have a turning point in here for them to be able to manoeuvre like that. I'll do some little research into that and see what's best for them. Now the pool was originally going to stop here, but now I'm thinking we might actually put a road bridge over here to the drop and stick a road bridge underneath here, because the pool will be much lower than this surface, about 40 mil down. So I might put a tunnel underneath through there, which I think would be interesting. The staves are going to move because I needed to find more space in here. Instead of having staves along the side here, I'm actually going to change this and cut these out and turn this into a coal drop instead, based on just some of the photographs I've taken from an idea I got visiting Gothland, where they've got a coal drop. I quite like that idea. The canal will still go underneath the railway here out to this side, but we will have a half of a lock and a lock keeper's cottage worked into this corner, although it might be a bit tight. And back over to this side, ARP signal box will sit over there in that corner. Not too sure what I'm going to do with the surface over there, haven't decided yet. But you know, the road's going to go out, and that road will be sunken down from that level. So there will be another level going down so that it's low enough for it to come under this bridge. This yard in many places will be reduced in height, particularly the road coming up through. So we'll have pathways that will possibly be higher than the road, with rails down either side of it. Then there'll be offices here for the works, and then various turning around areas and parking, which I'm not quite sure how they're going to develop. I need to find some pictures to make myself happy with that. I'm going to extend this piece of track a little bit so that I can use the through shed and have a stop on that side of it so that things can shuffle a bit more. That's the loading point for the lorries. Now over here, do I put another cottage here? I've got the kit for the crossing keeper's cottage from Scale Scenes downloaded, so I might use that. It's quite a handsome little building, or this might just be a rolling field or just drop off, perhaps with some foliage. Don't know whether I want to put foliage into this. I possibly want us to keep it a bit more industrial, but you can't have just tons of wasteland. You'd still have sort of trees and things, wouldn't you? Even within some industrial places. Maybe this might end up being something like some kind of working yard. I don't know. Whatever it is, I need to have a little think about that, or get some inspiration from somewhere. And also I'll be playing around with what kind of cranes I want for over here, and where that crane might go with the canal. So I was thinking about having this crane as a canal crane, but then maybe having a crane off the back here somewhere, or this end, for the coal stays, because I've got one of those as well. It's a nice little crane created by Richard at This Way Works. It's one of his little designs. It's quite tidy. Goes on, appears on a little spike. Little 3D printed thing. Yeah, well, enough yapping. I better get on, I suppose.
Okay, so a little bit of watered down black acrylic, just to give us a bit of a base cover, make sure all the little pale areas are nicely covered up, so there's no chance of anything peeking through. A little bit of zinc primer to give me a bit of rust effect on the side of the rails there. It's nowhere near as bright as this in real life. I've got to work out how to play around with my camera settings. Then these matchsticks have laid down in between the tracks and the sleepers, making sure that the right height, same height as the sleepers, so that when I put my next layer on, everything sits nice and neatly. Started off the batch between the track with, as you'll see here, 4 wide, 1.5 long. I'd cut a whole bunch in half so I can get that staggered plank effect, which works out well when you highlight it with paint. But as I was coming around to this end, I suddenly realised, well, I'm starting to face myself, and I thought, hang on a second, it's all a bit, there's too much of a gap here. I'm sure I can get a 5th one in. So that's what I did, went back, put a 5th one in, and then what I'll do is when that's gone dry, I'll cut that back. Tum-de-tum, and there's the last one coming in. And finished. Took longer than that, obviously. Now, it's at this point you realise that I got my measurements wrong and I had to put a second layer of sticks in. Never mind, no harm, no foul. And here I centralised the planks, and this took quite a long time to do, so I think I'll just cut forward from here. Right, that's them all finished off, nicely staggered. Just needs a bit of a light base colour of brown. There you go.
Well, I'm happy with the gapping in the planks. So they should have, with a little bit more weathering work and with powders, I think they're going to look fantastic. Next job though is ballasting, and we're going to be using some one stripe filler. That's for kind of worn out muddy paths. Basing glue to attach the ballast to the plastic bits. mainly because I would use good old-fashioned speed bond, but it's just too quick. It goes off too quickly. Then ballast bond, obviously, to join the ballast. Now I've got some mixed brands cinders from 00 projects in the past. They're a bit like the size of I suppose, scale-wise, it's like this piece of coal being the size of a baked potato, a big baked potato. And then this is my fine ballast from Woodland Scenics, which is this stuff here on the top here, which I think is a much better scale ballast. Right, so well, I better get on.
I found the Scenics basing glue just the right consistency for painting on and for it not to sort of slide off. Obviously, you need to leave it to dry for a good few hours before you can sort of brush away the waste. And then I've backfilled the deep holes with the sort of spare stuff I've got, and then tied it up on top with the superfine cinders. Here we go with some ISO. Rather than spraying the whole area, I didn't want to soak all the cardboard print and the paper print, so I'm using ISO just out of a little dropper, and then in with the scenic cement. Again, something that's some people struggle with. I find it quite relaxing. It does take a little bit of time, so hence I think it will speed this bit up. Here we go. Next job, I wanted to backfill the outside of the rails. So a bit of tape to make sure I didn't fill up the inside. A little bit of the fine cinders, a little bit of the green basing, just to sort of give a little bit of the sort of idea of weeds. There you go. Crack on with that. Lovely. Now on with some scenic powders from DCC Concepts. Bit of black, bit of the darker rust. Just chuck it all over the place, rub it in. Don't get too worried about it. Clean off the excess, and then in with a black pastel, just to sort of darken up, give it a bit of base area, even though I'm going to rub this in so you won't really see it. It'll give some depth. Then I go over the top with 2 or 3 shades of lighter, so like a light brown or light grey, just to try and highlight those matchsticks, those planks. There you go. Run over again for some tyre marks and some oil marks, and then hit it with some lacquer. I think that's probably next, yeah. No, clear out the track, then hit it with some lacquer. There you go. Time lapse, that's nice and dry. Took a bit longer than that, obviously. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Just needs to clean the crap off the rails, and run the hoover over it, and we should be good for testing. Yeah. Final hero flyby of the finished article, which I'm very pleased with. I just need to go back over the centre of the concrete in the roundhouse, make that a bit darker. But yeah, pleased with that. There you go, finished.
Okay, the roundhouse. Let's have a quick chat about what we've been up to, what we've been doing. Now, I've covered this in previous videos, but what I really wanted to try and achieve is I wanted to get away from, and I'll get in there close. You can see that this quite heavily detailed casting of the brickwork, and this whole feel of it being, I don't know, it's self-coloured and it makes it easy for people to work. Yes, I understand that, but there was a finesse about it. I wanted to just try and make it match up more with the scale scenes, which are beautifully created. And so to do that, I couldn't see how I was going to achieve that via paint. And what I really wanted to do, apart from a number of detail changes inside, something else I really wanted to do is I wanted to make sure the brickwork lined up and make sure that the whole kind of 1930s, 1940s feel of some of the scale scene stuff was going to be, copied over onto this roundhouse. It's an example of the brickwork, and this is the Scale Scenes dark red brick TX23. It's not 00 scale. you buy the double L scale version and then you reduce it down in your printer so you get the right scale. So so then you get these wonderfully created brick textures, which really close up like this look good, but actually when they're actually on the models themselves, I think they look fantastic. But now you compare that with the brickwork, the plastic brickwork, you can see that the scale is completely out. Now it may well be the right scale for a German brick. I'm not so sure about German bricks, but I do know that that the coursework is too coarse, the brickwork's too big, and it just wasn't doing it for me. I wanted it all to look like this, which is how my scouting building is going to look like. For example, it should be an image of the ARP signal box, water tower, and the kind of style of the engine shed that I was going to use before I decided to go down the route of using this German roundhouse. As you can see, it's got concrete beams and it's got a reduced level of detail, unlike the Victorian stuff, which is normally a little bit more ornate, and it has a zinc roof. So this is what we try to replicate here with just a nice, simple, tidy. We've kept the columns and I kept the bottom trim, but everything else has been wrapped nice and tidily in with a concrete sill on there, concrete capping top, which repeats around to on the inside. Repeated the print on the inside as well. You might notice that I'll go and get one of the windows. Hang on. So the windows were really quite super chunky with a great big flange for an easy location and a couple of little steps either end for the big piece of glazing to go in. Now, glazing's fine. Problem with glazing is this reflection. And as soon as you've got reflection, you can't see through it. So there's a bit of me doesn't see the point. And also, when you don't have a reflection, it's distorted. What's through there is distorted. So for me, glazing's a no-go. So that's gone. And then I didn't want these great big chunky frames on the inside, even though you're not seeing much of the inside. When I look inside, I want to see something a little bit neater, something that doesn't really catch the eye, which is why I trimmed the edges all the way down to the frame through there, and then I trimmed a little bit of the top and bottom to reduce them. So they're just glued top and bottom, and they hold in really quite nice and neatly, and they do the job when it comes to, I'll get some light on there, holding the wrapped paper in place, which is basically the number one job. Right, so that's those. The roof, I've got the what is it? It is Scale Scenes zinc roofing TX34. That had been reduced to fit onto here, because these were a zinc roof anyway. These always were. There's one I haven't finished yet, but I just wanted to make it more in keeping with the zinc roofs that are going to be on the Scale Scene stuff. That fits in, will fit in neatly like that when the job's done. So hopefully, when it's all put together, with the front doors, again using a concrete plinth for the top of it, hopefully all this will start to tie in more neatly or more purposefully with the rest of the Scale Scene stuff. Okay, that's enough of the yap. Let's get it. Let's get it built. At this point, I realised that I needed to stop fitting the front pieces and do them at the end when I had the doors actually sort of held in place as well, because that's more important for lining them up. Right, quick flyby. Everything's nice and square. I'm happy with how it's all sorted. You'll see there are some gaps when we pan around the front between the front units, but they'll all be covered up by the columns in between, so that'll be fine. Now here's an idea for some cheap lighting, hopefully. These cost pennies. You can get them at most cheap outlets like WAGONS, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they work out.
Well, I hope that was worth waiting for. I know, got a long way to go, haven't we? And yeah, these won't wrap themselves, so I better crack on. If you've enjoyed this, please share on social media. Of course, like and subscribe. Poke Peachy in the face, and here's a couple of videos for you. Cheers. Take care. Cheerio. Bye.